As you can see on the screen here, I created a test meeting and a test webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the meeting first. And I've already logged into Zoom, and I'm using a Mac here, but your screen will look similar. So the thing I'm lacking here is participants, but I will open up the participant window. So you see here, in a meeting, all participants will join the meeting. We have the option to have everyone assemble in a waiting room. So that's a good idea. We kind of like to set up the meeting, have everything ready, and then all the participants, they'll just be hiding out in a waiting room until we're ready to let them all in. So then that usually is at usually the top of the hour of the session. As a panelist, your screen will look similar to this. And if you're familiar with Zoom, you know that your unmute button is there. If you click on this little arrow here, you have different selections here as far as microphone. I can select a different microphone. I can select a different speaker if I'm not hearing the output come from where it should, whether it should be coming out from my laptop or computer speakers, or whether it's going through my headset. So that's where you find that. And then in order to start my video, I can click on this and that'll turn on my camera. Same thing with this little up arrow here. I can select a camera if I have multiple cameras. I can choose a virtual background. I can change some video settings. Normally you don't need to change any of that. For hosts, I have the ability here under the security to enable the waiting room, and I can allow participants to do certain functions like share their screen, chat, rename themselves, unmute, and all that stuff. So if I really wanted to lock down a session, I can remove the unmute themselves function. So then it'll become more like a webinar. And then you saw where I clicked the participants window. That's here on the right. Again, I can click on the up arrow and invite people to the meeting. That's usually handled by the host, so you as a panelist won't have to worry about starting the meeting. Someone from IHA will start the meeting usually 15 minutes before the start of the session, and we'll make sure that all your technical issues are resolved, your screens are shared, your PowerPoint audio is working, your background looks sufficient, there's no glare. So we'll work out all those bugs at the beginning. And finally, you have chat. If I click on this is the normal way that people interact. So I'll just type in a quick message here, and it's labeled to everyone. If I click here, I can designate who can chat with who. So I'll just enter that. So I just sent a message to everyone. Since there aren't any participants, normally I can click on this, on everyone here, and change that to a specific person. So since I don't have any panelists, I can't do that right now. That's chat. During a meeting, we have the ability to run polls. So if you send in your questions beforehand, I can go ahead and set up a quick poll, and that it's just a question and a set of answers. So we set that up ahead of time, and if I click on it, it'll ask me for a location where I can open that poll. All meetings are going to be recorded, so we do that from the very beginning so that any participants who didn't make it to the meeting or any other participants that want to look at the archived sessions can do so. So reactions is a way to bring up little emoticons on the screen just to reflect how you're feeling, thumbs up, happy faces, that kind of thing. And the structure of a meeting, one of IHA staff will go ahead, and when it comes time for the session, they will start the introductions. They'll go through the housekeeping rules and explain how the meeting is going to work and what functions to use. So because the meetings are more interactive, the question and answer sessions, they may be held live. That's up to the speaker in the session and how it's formatted. Questions could be submitted through chat. That is always a good suggestion for that, to keep them organized, and that way people can see them all at the same time. The usual way to share your screen within Zoom is this green share screen button. When you click this button, it brings up the share screen window, and here you can select whether you want to share an application or whether you want to share your entire screen. I always recommend sharing your entire screen. So in this case, desktop 1, which is my entire screen, I've been given that option to share that, and I always recommend it because it's easier. If you share an application, it creates confusion for the speaker when switching back and forth. So it's easier just to share the entire thing. Whatever you see, your audience sees. And if you have videos in your presentation, you notice down below you see 2 check boxes there: share sound and optimize for video clip. Doing so will kind of degrade the resolution of the stream so that videos will play more smoothly on their screen. So the video resolution will be a little bit less, but they'll be able to see it without it stuttering and buffering, and they won't need as much bandwidth to be able to view the video. So I'm going to cancel out of that. I have nothing to share. Your slides should have been formatted previously. IHA will provide a template which you will follow, and it should be branded and according to the conference. And the IHA staff member, the moderator, will walk you through the session. So after the introduction and they turn it over to the speaker, you have the option to handle questions live during your talk, or you can reserve the question and answer to the end. So that is really up to you. Speakers will have questions. They'll be posting questions to chat during the session, and the moderator will keep track of those. So if you choose to stop and ask if there are questions, then the moderator can jump in and get those addressed at that moment. Then at the very end, the moderator will come on after Q&A is done and thank the speaker or speakers for the presentation, and then we'll close out the session and announce the next session. These sessions, each one will have a special particular link that the user will click on. For meetings, again, you will have a special invitation in your email with a link to your session. So that's how you'll be able to get into the meeting. And it's just like any other Zoom meeting that you've been on before. So there'll be little difference with that. So I'm going to end this meeting now.